What is a needy expat? Well, it's no secret. We all know what someone who's needy is like. But why is that personality trait play such a big role in either the success or the failure of someone's retirement over here? And do you fit into that category or are you the exception? That's what I'm going to examine in the upcoming video. So this video, I wanted to cover via my own experiences and via 8 years worth of observations, why so many people that move from, say, America, where I'm from, to here in the Philippines, where I reside, why some flourish and grow and experience life to its fullest, where others come over and simply flounder and possibly fail completely. I think I'll initially start with those that flourish. And while there's a myriad of reasons, there's not one pat answer to this question. One major component that I think plays a pivotal role in the success and the failure rate of people moving over here is how comfortable they might be or are in their own skin. And do they have the ability to be happy by themselves? They can be alone, yet not feel lonely. In fact, I have found that it's very empowering in my own life to have found that I sometimes seek solitude as opposed to the hustle and the bustle or the social life that is pretty prevalent out here. It's not hard to meet people, make friends, get involved, but sometimes that can just turn into chaos. And I think in our golden years here, it's important that we have time that we can sit back, we can reflect, and we can take contentment in the fact that now that that life back home is over, this is an opportunity not to just leave a life behind, but it's an opportunity to discover who you really are. For so long, you've most likely been straddled with bills and obligations and payments and raising the kids and all of this stuff that can stifle your personality. It can stifle your well-being. It can stifle your health. Um, and now that that's over and done with, the wife is possibly gone out of your life. The kids are grown up. There's no more mortgage. There's no more car payments. There's no more credit card debt. You move over here and you start over. The first thing that is going to be a major relief is the financial and economic freedom that one experiences. There's no more desperation or financial insecurity because the cost of living over here is approximately 1/3 of what it was back home. And so now you have this time where you're no longer going to have to go to a job. You're no longer going to have to perform the honeydews for the wife. You're no longer going to need to drive the kids to school. It's really a lot of me time. So me time is important to your own sanity, but how can you have any real me time if you're insecure about yourself? I think those that strive for solitude, in fact, need it in their lives, are those that are authoring their own lives as opposed to it being written for them by others. Once you've learned to just cast off what other people think about you, or why you weren't included, or why you weren't invited, or how come they said that about you, and let it just roll off you like water off a duck's ass and say, it is what it is. I just don't care. I'm cool being by myself. When I first moved over here, I felt free as a bird. I didn't know a soul. I didn't know one person. And I really didn't have, I had a loose, sketched out plan of how I was going to navigate things. But let me emphasize the word loose. It was certainly not something that was very anal or programmed out to what I was going to do on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I just kind of said, I'm just going to see what happens. It's important that I get here, number one. And then it's important that I find a hotel. And then after that, I'll find transportation. And then after that, I'll find a residence. And those things will just sort of take care of themselves when they're supposed to. And that's exactly what happened. So I never overthought this whole process. And when I was alone, I would just revel in it. It was just something that I truly enjoyed. I love to watch other people. I love to see the scenery. I love to see I like facing the challenges of living in a new place. It didn't get me my knickers all twisted. I just kind of go with the flow. And every year that I live here, I find it easier and easier and easier to simply settle in and be comfortable within my own skin, because I really and truly am at a point, and many others that I've noticed that succeed over here are at a point where they just don't give a damn. They don't care what other people do, think, or believe. They have their own belief system. We have our own core principles and values. We're going to stick to them, but we feel absolutely no obligation to broadcast it or share it with someone or force it down their throat. Why? Because it's only important what we think. And we're not here to convince anybody about their politics or their religion or their lifestyle or their morals. It is what it is. And your life is your life, and my life is my life. And so, do you want to have your story written by others? Or do you want to be the author of your own life? I choose the latter. I want to be the one that writes the story about what happens for me as I move forward. And I believe that you would too, if given the opportunity, would like to be in total control of how your life now progresses from today to the end of days. So that's what I think successful people do. They are able to be alone without feeling lonely. They're not needy in any way, shape, or form. They're not reliant upon anybody but themselves. And they're totally cool with sitting out by themselves, looking at the stars, and pondering the big questions of life, if that's what you like to do. Reading a book, staying at home for 3 days in a row. Whatever it is, it does not have to involve anyone else for you to find happiness or fulfillment. But when you do meet someone that embellishes your life, brings more joy to it, someone you enjoy being around, that is certainly a bonus. I also think that when you have that attitude and you have that mindset that I don't really care what this guy thinks, I think that transcends into the way that when you're dealing with people, they pick up on that and they see an inner strength in you that they may not see in others. Speaking of others, let's move into the guys that don't have that ability, the ones that I refer to as the needy or the clingy expat or human. These are folks that need to be validated. They need it via social media. They need it in person. They need it on a constant basis. What other people say, what other people do, what other people think about them is of magnitude of importance, because they're not that secure within themselves. There are some people that just cannot sit still and sit in a room because they're not really liking themselves. They're constantly questioning their ability. They're constantly ruminating on past mistakes. They're ruminating on failures. They're ruminating on what happened yesterday. They're ruminating on problems that they had 10 years ago, failures, um, bad experiences where they feel like they were wronged or they were taken advantage of. And that's probably true, but why worry about it? It's over and done with. This is an ability to begin a new chapter of your life. You definitely need to remember those instances, but they should not be at the forefront of your thoughts anymore. Those days are come, they have gone. it's never going to be recovered. You can only move forward and hopefully not repeat the same mistakes that you may or may not have made in the past. When someone is reliant upon somebody else for their happiness, well, there's a real good chance that that person is going to let them down because none of us are perfect. The other instances where guys fail over here is because it's so important that they be liked and that they be wanted and that they be desired. They think they need to pay for that. That's the only thing they understand. The power of the wallet, or leading with their wallet. Where does that get you? Well, you normally just get you broke. And one thing that I've learned, it's great to be a giver. It's a wonderful thing that if you can see it within your budget, in your own situation, that if you want to help somebody out financially, go right ahead and do it. Just please don't expect anything in return and do it simply because you want to. Don't do it because you think it's going to win approval from someone. Here's the thing. Givers have limits because they can only do so much. Takers have no limits whatsoever. They will continue to take and take and take until you can't give anymore. Many people have fallen into the trap where they have been giving and giving and giving way over and above what they can afford to do. And it has led them down to a path of financial ruin, unhappiness, disappointment, and emotional quagmire that they run into because they were trying so hard to please other people. Just be yourself is my motto. Just be who you are and enjoy and embrace who you are. This is the opportunity to write a new chapter in your life. This is not the time or the place to try to rewrite the whole script. Just move forward from this point of the book to the next point. Turn the page. Write a new story. Hopefully, it will be one of where you feel secure, you're feeling enabled, you're feeling empowered because you, within you, have all that's necessary for you to lead a fulfilling life. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.